Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Stardom Dream Queendom 2022 preview and predictions. This is Stardom's December 29th, 2022 Ryogoku Kokugikan pay-per-view. It is the biggest show of the year, and I am beyond stoked to not only be previewing this thing right now with John. John, say hello.
Hi, everybody.
But also the fact that we're going to be live reacting to it in now under 4 hours. Oh, God. Yeah. This is going to be great. I can't wait. I am so excited. It looks like the actual first match of Dream Queendom won't be starting until 3:20 a.m. I just saw, but then the main show is supposed to start at 4 a.m. So it's going to be a long one, and we do have the dark match is something that we are going to preview and predict, but should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it. We've got some mystery people that we're going to be guessing still, believe it or not, even though some of the mysteries have been answered already. But John, how you feeling? Let's treat this like it's a WWE pay-per-view and give our rating out of 10 as far as our hype level goes.
Looking at this whole card and looking at the implications, I think it's been a very strong year for Stardom, and I've said repeatedly on live reactions related to Stardom content that I think 2023 is going to be a watershed year for them. All that being said, I'm at a 9 out of 10 currently for this show.
I was going to say 9.5, so we're pretty close to even on that.
Yeah, I would say 9 only because there's one match I really don't care about,
Tag
and then
titles.
another match that I think will be, yes, Goddess's Championship match. And then the Wonder of Stardom title match, while I'm intrigued by it and I think it will be good, I do still think that this spot belonged to a Suzu or just somebody else. So I'm docking half a point.
More of a full-timer
Kind
or
of
someone that's been around a little longer.
Exactly. But all that being said, those two together, one where I'm just not interested and the other where I am interested, but I feel like better options were on the table. I think 9 out of 10 is a very fair assessment for this show. So that's, where I'm at.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, I'm around a 9.5. Let's start previewing and predicting. Unless you have something else you'd like to say before we get into that.
Absolutely not. I'm excited to talk about these matches. That's where the content is. So let's get into this.
All right, let's get into it. Our opening match, our dark match, a Stardom Rumble. Currently announced for the Rumble is Rina. Hina. It's kind of hard because the Google Translate of their names is wrong a lot of the time. Rina, Hina, Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, Waka Tsukiyama, Yuna Mizumori. We got Unimon in this. That's fun. Tomoka Inaba, Saki. That's all caps Saki from Colors. Fukigen Des, Ram Kaicho, Super Strong Starlight Machine, and then at least two, I should say, mystery guests that are, currently unnamed.
Matches with mystery opponents or participants, whatever, is always kind of a pain in the neck because you're inclined to want to go with the mystery box in a manner of speaking. I will say though, of the competitors we know, Lady C jumps out at me. I think this would be a great way to end her year. And really, I'd give Lady C this because she's the one involved in a storyline, and the storyline being all these factions are interested in you because they see your promise and your potential. So to me, like, you should make good on that, win the Stardom Rumble, and kind of keep upping your value as a character. So just from a narrative perspective, and yes, there is bias because I like Lady C. I know you do too. Just from the known pull, I'm going to go Lady C. And if one is Hanan on a match on this show, because she might be one of the
yeah, she is. She's in the Triangle Derby preview.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Because if she was a mystery, I would say her because I think she's another one that could have a year end strong. But I'm just gonna go Lady C. So how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of want to go Inaba here. I really do because I feel like it's one of those weird instances where like the future of God's Eye is going to start the night strong, but like the present of God's Eye is going to end the night by losing the world title kind of thing.
That makes perfect sense to me. I'll be honest with you, bro. I really was torn between Lady C and Inaba. So those are like the two picks that I'm really enthused about. So I don't blame you at all going the other way.
Yeah.
I'm going Inaba.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad that we kind of are on the same page there for the most part. I know that we don't agree on exactly who we're picking, but we've got pretty much the same two candidates in mind. I'm hoping that we see Mei Suruga in this, but I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't. That said, let's move on to our first official match of the main show. Mina is back. We've got Pink Kabuki reuniting for the first time in a while to take on the team of Mai, Sakurai, and Tekra.
I'm just going to be very straightforward with this. It's got to be Pink Kabuki. I mean, look, here's the thing. Yes, I'm a Mina fan. Yes, I'm incredibly biased. But the last big thing she did was push Kamitani to the fucking limit for the Wonder Stardom title.
Mm-hmm.
Sakurai nor Tekla are even close to that level relative to when Mina, the last thing she did. And then Unagi, I don't care for Unagi. I've made that pretty plain on this podcast. I'm happy for her that she's going on this excursion. She's finding success. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be like a fan of hers overnight. However, that said, she is going on this excursion. She is kind of upping her value. I hear her merch sales are actually doing well, and we've got to be fair. Even when we don't like somebody, success is success. So I just think collectively, Pink Kabuki is a greater success than this kind of team up of DDM members right now.
Yeah.
Sakurai, she's the number one contender for the future title. Probably not going to win it. And Tekla really, I think, has been cooled down a little bit since losing the SWA title. And I know Mafia Bella, I could buy them as Goddesses champs, but hopefully if the night goes the way we want it to, Julie ain't going to have time for tag team titles. So I'm going Pink Kabuki all the way. This is actually one of the easier matches to predict in my mind. So what do you think?
No, yeah, fully agree, and I do hope, since you mentioned the SWA title, I hope that Mina is able to win that at some point in 2023 so that she can potentially travel to the US, maybe work some AEW shows, get that exposure not only for herself, but for Stardom as a brand.
Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely. All right, next up, we have got the pre-Triangle Derby, the Triangle Derby preview match. Momokogo, Hanan, and Mayu are a team, and then the other team is Hazuki and Koguma, so FWC, teaming up with Saya Ida. Who do you think wins this, man? I kind of am leaning actually towards the Ida and FWC team, with Kogo taking the pin because of the story going on with Kogo.
That is very tempting. So tempting, in fact, that I do think I'm going to come down on your side of thinking. However, I do want to say that it's not like a Hardy coming down, like a strong agree. There is a bit of tentativeness and trepidation there, mainly because Ida, I could see her eating the pin to Hanan or a Mayu. Granted, though, I do think Kogo is the weakest of the match overall. Yeah. So that's, again, why I'm agreeing with you. And you made a very salient point about the storyline currently. So I think I will agree with you, Ida and FWC. Should be an interesting preview. I'm definitely hyped for the Triangle Derby, especially if no other reason. We got Maya Yukihi in it, and I know that's going to be like a lot of buzz in the Joshi world. So hopefully this preview slaps, and I wish everybody luck in it. So
yeah, Rebel X Enemy. It's Maya, Maika Ozaki, and Ram. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering if either of Maika Ozaki, or I guess I should say, and or Maya ends up being in that pre-show battle royal. It seems pretty unlikely that you put, especially Maya, in a pre-show of any kind, but maybe Stardom would do that as a way to get her to pay her dues before they pick her up on like a full-time basis. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, man. Could be.
All right, so then we've got a number one contendership match for the Goddesses of Stardom Championship. It is the New Era's Mirai and Ami Sourei versus Mai Hime, Maika and Himeka, versus BMI 2K, Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. And you know what, dude? I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I know who you're picking, so I'll let you talk when you get the floor here, but I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I actually think BMI 2K is winning this. I'm genuinely 100% legitimately and sincerely picking them to win. I'm not excited about it, but I feel like we're in the darkest timeline as far as the Goddesses titles, path goes right now. So I'm just basically going with the worst option, expecting for Stardom to just get through it. And then once we get over to the other side of that, it's just fucking rainbows and sunshine, and it'll be way better.
Don't fault you at all for that pick. To me, Mai Hime are the most interesting team in this, as I have said repeatedly on live reaction commentaries. For those of you that really are plugged into our Stardom content and know what we're about, I think, they went to a draw in the 5-star together. They left together. I feel like their bond has been stronger then. I said during the tag league, of which I really enjoyed their performance, they should have made the finals. Shame on Stardom, honestly, for not making them make the finals, because I think even if they would have lost in the finals, their story would have been more interesting going into this match. I love that for Dite as individuals. God knows I worship the ground that Utami walks on. For God's sakes, I worship the rain that waters the ground that she walks on. And Kamitani, I think, is definitely the future of this company. But nobody needed to see that. They had their goddesses run. We know they're great. I feel like Mahime could have used that. So I am excited about them being here. New eras have already challenged several times for the goddesses belts. I wouldn't mind calling them off. To be quite honest, I think Ami is more interesting right now as the future champ, and Mirai, I still think, has a lot to give in singles, and I think we could heat her back up. I'd like to see her get to a level of over that she was earlier this year, because I think she's cooled off a little bit. So the biggest threat then is BMI 2K, and that's why I understand completely why you'd pick them. And in fact, only because of a certain result I'm expecting in the Goddesses match, because I don't want to jump any guns here, it does make the most sense. So actually, I'm going to agree with you that BMI 2K is winning this.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
hate it. But emotionally, I am rooting for Mahime the whole time, and I'm assuming you are as well. So I've got
Really,
my
emotionally, I'm rooting for anyone but BMI2K. I fucking love Ami Sourei. And, I'm
Yeah.
cool with Mirai. She and I, we're cool. But I love Ami. I love Himeka. And, yeah, it's like those two teams have a kind of similar construction for me. I love Himeka and Ami. And, like, Micah and Mirai, like, yeah, we're cool. But I'm not, like, enthusiastic about either one of them. But they're friends with the one that I do love. So, that makes me like, yeah, we're good kind of thing.
And look, if you're like me, and I doubt many of our fans are, admittedly, and I don't mind being on an island here, but if you're like me and you really do want to see Mahime regain the goddesses belts at some point and really have an honest run that they don't get dicked over by, their faction leader, really still low-key haven't forgiven Julia for that, but, letting bygones be bygones because we have bigger fish to fry. You want the title shot to come later because that increases the likelihood that they'll actually win.
Yeah.
I feel like Meltier is just getting started. And so honestly, BMI 2K actually make more sense as challengers. So again, my emotional pick is with Mahime, but even then, to a point, I'm like, if they stay together and they keep grinding, you could have a really emotional tag team story here. And you don't get that often. I don't care what company it is. You really don't get that often in pro wrestling. And I like that. I want to see these two that very clearly care deeply for each other not give up on each other. Keep fighting, keep winning, keep losing, but then keep winning. And then finally you win all the way and you win the goddesses belts. And I think it would be meaningful, which here's the thing, just to say one more thing, because I didn't expect to talk this much about the freaking goddesses belts. Obviously, I'm excited about Meltier being champions because I think they're legit. I think Tam, at any point you could put the red belt on her, I wouldn't bat an eye because Tam is just that good and has been for a long time. Natsupoi, I gave her high praise very early on when she came into Stardom, likened her to Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor. The way she works in the ring, the way she carries herself. Honestly, she could win the Wonder Belt. I won't go as high as say world title, let's not get crazy, but she could win the Wonder title. And similarly to Tam winning the world title, I really wouldn't bet that much of an eye about it. I think, some context would matter, but you could get me there very easily. So together as a tag team, they bring a lot of credibility, a lot of value to the goddesses belts. I want that to continue because they beat, if I'm not mistaken, FWC for those titles. And, I've liked the lineage of the goddesses belts lately, from Black Desire and then, FWC and then Meltier. And now, I would like Mahime to be the next champions, but you got to do a heel team before then. I don't know what heel team you do. Honestly, wouldn't be opposed if you did like a Kairi and a Nanae. I hate Nanae, but that would be a team that I could buy if you really wanted to double down on Kairi as a heel, get her, 2 fucking belts, which wouldn't really matter because the IWGP one is going to be defended more sparingly. And then you go Mahime. I think you could get a really nice lineage for the goddesses belts this year, and I want Mahime to be a huge part of that. But you got to be patient. So I'm willing to be patient if that payoff comes. So yeah, BMI 2K for today, but hopefully Mahime win the Grand War over the goddesses belts, and we shall see.
Bro,
so next matchup,
the monkey paw just fucking curled, and now 7-Up are winning tonight because of what you just said about needing a heel team to win the titles first.
Don't put this on me because it's the same shit when I'm like, you open your mouth about Rocket League and then they score and you're like, oh, not my fault. And it's not on me. If 7-Up win the titles, it's because Rossi has a fucking hard-on for Nanae, and he needs to, like, solve it or something, or just stay in the casket he gets put in on fucking showcase shows. But, are we talking about Goddess's titles next?
No. We've got Kairi versus Utami, special singles match. I, you know, I really wish this was for the title because the fact that it's not, to me at least, makes it very clear that Utami's winning in order to also then earn contendership for the title.
Yeah, actually no, I have a lot I want to say about this, obviously, because this is a huge freaking deal for me. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
No, I just feel very confident Utami's winning this match. I'm excited about the match. This match is going to be great, but I just do feel like 100% confident that Utami's winning it.
Yeah, so I love this. Obviously, Kairi has meant so much to me for several years. I think she's a freaking sweetheart. Oh, did I unplug? Okay, no, thankfully I didn't. I had something fall, but thankfully I'm still good over here. So Kairi has meant a lot to me for so many years, and I adore her, and I love seeing the spot that she's in. I was telling you, I believe yesterday, and I was telling Craig on Monday when we had that weird, not even really a game night, just hey, two people are here, might as well just talk and whatever. It was a really weird night on Monday. Telling him that, the way Stardom has booked her and the way New Japan, went with her, because, Mayu apparently didn't want to work extra dates, and Kairi's like, oh, that's fine. It's really upped her value again, where she feels like big energy Kairi again. Doesn't feel, mid-card or anything like that. I love that. However, I have said in an interesting twist that Utami is kind of like my new Johnny Mundo here. I love everything she does. I want her to have everything. Fuck you. As long as she gets to eat, I honestly don't give a shit if you starve. That's how, when I really go for somebody, it's like, fuck you. I want to get mine. And in this case, I want to get her to get hers. I didn't even care that the plan was Shuri Julia for the world title. I wanted Utami to beat Shuri, when they had their title match recently. So, as a fan, I'm rooting for Utami to win this because I want her to be the IWGP Women's Champion. Kairi, to me, I'm glad that she got to be the first, but Kairi could hang up the boots tomorrow and she'd have a career she should be immensely proud of. And I think that made Joshi wrestling and Joshi culture better by having it. Utami, though, still has so much to give at only 26. I want her to have a career that would make the Stardom, Freedom, look like child's play or at least be on par with them. All of that said, I'm actually going to predict a TLD here. Kairi has not lost since returning to the ring, and I feel like Utami, given the little bit of a losing streak she's been on, she wasn't able to close a tag league with Kamitani, didn't win the world title with Shuri, didn't even make it to the finals of the IWGP Women's Championship tournament because Mayu beat her in an absolute fucking classic. All of that said, though, I do still think they'll want to remind people that this is Utami, and I know this has been a match that's a big deal for Kairi because Kairi has wanted to face Utami, so I think Kairi also want to be a little bit selfless here, but given that she has a match with Tam at Wrestle Kingdom, I don't think you want her to take an L so close to that, so I'm going to predict a draw here, actually, between these two. It keeps Utami protected, keeps Kairi protected, and you have perfect grounds for a rematch because, hey, we never settled it, and then that rematch can be for the title. So, draw is my prediction officially.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. You're probably actually going to end up being more right than me, but I'm going to stick to my guns and say that Utami actually just wins. Uh, that would also probably just be a bigger deal then, too. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Let's get to our next match now, which is Azumi defending the high-speed title against Hikari Shimizu from Colors. I love this. I am so excited for this dude. When Shimizu came out to challenge Azumi at that one show, I was so fucking excited. And they've been doing super adorable stuff to hype this match up. At the press conference, I think they did like a speed drinking contest or something like that. And then they like did laps, which Azumi didn't actually participate, but then she acted like she did. And then like on Twitter, they did rock, paper, scissors, which I believe Azumi won. And yeah, like it's just been a lot of fun, little random high speed tasks that they've been competing with each other on, mostly because Shimizu just wants to prove that she can be better at high speed than Azumi, and Azumi is just the fucking best at it. I've loved the build to this match. I do think Azumi is just going to retain, but man, this has been fun, and this match is going to absolutely be just so much fun for how little time it gets. Which I'm assuming it's probably going to get like 9 or 10 minutes at most.
Kudos to you. You've been far more dialed into the buildup of this match than me, because I know you've shared this stuff on the Discord. And again, I urge everybody to subscribe to the Discord, especially if you're getting into Stardom or any kind of Joshi wrestling, because we occasionally do TJPW as well, especially for Ashton, because when he dives in, he goes in deep. Certainly more so than myself with what he studies and keep up with like segments and stuff. Because I know you've really been looking forward to this. I will say Shimizu by far is my favorite member of Colors.
Yes.
The first time I saw her in that tag match, I'm like, she's the best one. I just that was just the vibe that I got. So seeing her,
it's interesting because you were actually the first one. This is a rare instance where you were the first one to really pick up on how good someone is before me.
Yeah, and Azumi, she's the freaking future, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like, we've been talking a little bit about 2023 a little bit. I don't want this to be like a gazing into 2023 kind of commentary per se, but I mean, you're talking about somebody that Azumi better get her first challenge for the white belt next year. Like, that's a big thing on my Stardom wish list. Get Azumi up the freaking card. Now, I have also said, and I have given her and I have given Stardom all the credit in the world, this second high-speed title run has been far better than her first. I don't even really remember being that wowed by her first, save for a few defenses. This, I feel like, the way she's carrying herself, the challengers, like, everything's just kind of clicking. I love that Shimizu is a challenger because, again, to reiterate, to me, she's the best one in Colors. I think it's going to be a really fun match. I love how they've just embraced the build. It's been very creative, very fun, very playful. I do think Azumi retains. There is going to come a time, though, where we're going to have to talk about handing this title down. And I don't necessarily want to say freeing Azumi up because that would be an insult to all the work that she's done to make the title matter. But I want her to make other titles matter. I mean, you're talking about a young woman in Azumi that carries herself with so much confidence. I want to see her in press conferences with the white belt. And I want to see her be that I'm the best wrestler here kind of champion and really back it the fuck up because we know she can. So I have really high expectations and pretty strong demands of Stardom as it relates to Azumi going into next year. Because you can only hold the future back so long. I mean, to me, Azumi is inevitable. That's the word I think of with Azumi. It's inevitable. Whether it's leading Queen's Quest, being in the main event, headlining pay-per-views, when her era comes, it's going to be magic for everybody that ever believed in her and knew that it was going to happen. And I count us, definitely among that group. She retains today, but I'm really waiting for that main event run. And I think we're going to see seeds planted hopefully next year. So that's my hope. But
dude,
we can talk about the next match.
At this point, who the hell is going to be the one to actually unseat Azumi from that high-speed throne?
I don't know, but they're going to have to figure it out.
I feel like the best person to do it would be Kogo, but she's literally got the storyline that she just sucks right now.
Yeah. I really don't know, man. But again, they're gonna have to figure it out. Maybe Tekla.
Maybe Tekla.
Rematch, but
maybe it is Tekla. I don't know. That's a good one though.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe Hazuki, but I feel like that's such a downgrade for her at this point.
Hazuki's another one. I'm telling you, really, I think more broadly, another one of my wish list items for Stardom is just make the white belt division pop the hell off next year. You've got this amazing champion in Kamitani. Hazuki should be challenging, if not winning. I want Hazuki to complete that odyssey because Jesus Christ. Kid's challenged a few times, but I'd still like her to challenge again. Azumi to get her first challenge is get her feet wet. Make that division pop off next year. There is no reason not to. No reason not to. So, yeah.
All right. Let's get into our next match. The Artists of Stardom Championship match. Oedo Tai, the champions, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Starlight Kid going to be defending against the invading Prominence. It's an entire different promotion coming into Stardom. We've got Issa Sarah, Suzu Suzuki, and Kudumi Hiragi. And I got to tell you, man, just looking at this on paper, Kashima's got to pull something out of her ass because I don't see how Oedo Tai gets out of this thing alive.
I feel bad for Kashima, man. You know, they're putting the Dream Queendom card together. They put the final sheet up, like on a wall or something, because they seem like that kind of intimate locker room. They're all crowding each other. Kashima's like, oh, well, what match do we get? And she sees that and she's like, fuck, because she just knows, like, it's on me now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, too. Not only are they facing Prominence, they're facing Prominence in a hardcore rules match.
So I don't want to be too verbose on this particular match because I could feel myself getting excited the more we talk about this card. I kind of want Prominence to win, and here's why. Not just because of the kid rhetoric that I've been having lately on commentaries, where I want her to get back to singles, although that's 100% true, and you could extend that sentiment to Momo as well to a point. I want to believe in invading factions or like invading wrestlers. And it's hard to do that if they don't like get anything. That's why I always love the idea of Suzuki-gun, right? It's like, we're coming in, we're taking everything you have, and if you have a problem with it, well, I mean, fuck you. And you know, and they do it. I want Prominence to take a piece of Stardom here. I think that's interesting. I think, again, much like the Goddess's belts, I've enjoyed the lineage of the Artist belts recently. And I think Prominence would be an interesting step. Not to mention, if you're not going to get Suzu back in the ring with Kamitani anytime soon or any big-time player, she deserves a little something. And I would love to see Suzu be a Stardom title holder because that would be a reason to keep bringing her back to shows. Suzu on more Stardom shows means higher quality shows, and we all win. And for the record, I like Risa Sera too. Really don't give two thoughts about Hiragi personally, but, you know, really love Suzu. And Risa Sera is cool. I fucks with her. I'm cool with her. So I'm rooting for Prominence because, you know, if you're going to be an invading force, let me feel that threat. Not every invasion should be easily staved off. And yeah, it'd be kind of a interesting little reset for Oedo Tai because they lose the Artist belts, which I think are the only titles they have right now.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, again, just looking into 2023, every couple matches, like, I'd like that Oedo Tai Civil War to happen next year. I've really loved that idea ever since you and I have just been talking about it back and forth. I don't know if it's going to happen because Kid really hasn't shown any signs of resenting Natsuko being back. But you can make that resentment happen in just a couple of shows. So I don't know. I'd like to see Oedo Tai do something more narratively interesting next year. And I think losing those titles could be, you know, the groundwork for that. So I'm rooting for Prominence here personally, and I'm going to pick Prominence to win.
Again, dude, I swear to God, the fucking monkey paw curled as soon as you said that you really, really want for one of these outside invading forces to get something from Stardom. It's like, fuck, Nana and you are right there. I just keep looking at them.
Put this on me, man.
I know. I'm not putting it on you. I'm not putting it on you. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying it's your fault. I just keep hearing you say things about other things that make me think that the things that you're saying are going to be applied to Nana and you. Like,
we'll see.
The next tag team champions should be heels. Oh, look who they're challenging for tonight. Oh, yeah. I really want one of these invading forces to Stardom to take something from them. Oh, shit. Who's challenging for the tag titles tonight? Fuck. I really hope that doesn't happen. I do agree with you that it would be really cool if Prominence would win here. Something tells me that they're just not going to, though. I feel like it's not even really that, like... I feel like if Stardom were big enough right now that Vegas made odds for them, like they already do for Wrestle Kingdom, I feel like Oedo Tai would be favorited in this match, and I feel like I have to make that bet. I'm just going to pick Oedo Tai to retain. I'm going to be rooting for Suzu, especially throughout this entire match, but I really do think this is just going to come down to Kashima is going to catch specifically, I think, Risa actually off guard and pin her with Kishikaise and win the match for her team the way that she is the fucking X factor in every match.
Yeah, I mean that's a completely understandable position to take as far as I'm concerned. I'm just hoping it goes the other way, so we'll see.
Then we get to this match. Meltier defending the tag titles against 7-Up. Bro, I am picking Meltier to retain, but I have so much apprehension about this match.
Honestly, because you and I already agreed in the number one contenders match that BMI 2K are winning, just going with my head over my heart, I feel like Meltier. I mean, yeah, like them retaining is just the easy way to go. I understand that 7 Up, they've got a lot behind them because they are an imposing team and they won the tag league. I mean, that is the important thing that you can't neglect. And I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying generally, like, you can't neglect when thinking about this matchup that they are coming in the tournament winners. But I still think Meltzer's going to pull it off. I'm not going to, like, worry myself too much about it. If 7 Up win the Goddess titles, oh, I mean, here's my question to you. Because I doubt this because they've never done this before. There's no precedent. I'm only asking because I'm a believer that if you see an option, no matter how infinitesimal the chance of it happening, you should, draw it out. Do you think the unmasked Shinigami might help them try and win this if it gets too out of hand? How
That
heelish
would
are
be
7 Up
really
willing to be here?
interesting, actually, if they got some showcase like bleeding over into the actual like canon shows. We've never seen that
Yes.
before, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I don't think it'll happen because there's literally no precedent for this,
Yeah.
but that's why precedents need to be set every now and again. So I don't know.
Precedents, yeah, precedents have been getting broken a lot, especially in Japanese wrestling over the course of the last like 4 or 5 years or so.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know how heelish they're willing to be to win these titles. To be honest, it seems sometimes like Meltier cares about doing their live performance more than about the championships. It's kind of
Oh,
funny.
oh,
Um,
God,
I don't even know if I'm
sad, but
going too far saying that.
maybe true-ish, maybe.
I don't know. Like I know sometimes I can be, hyperbolic in some of my statements. I don't know if that would classify as one, but it just comes off to me at
Speaking of
times
their
like,
live performance, do they get to do that on this show?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know
guess
either.
if they retain, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I'm gonna go with Meltier retaining.
Yeah, all right. So then we get to Saya Kamitani defending the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Haruka Umisaki, or will it be? That, I guess, is the first question I should pose here. Will it be Umisaki, or will Karma make an appearance on this show?
I'm hoping, much like when Mina challenged, we leave our alter egos at home and we just do Umasaki straight up. I think that would be the better call, personally. I have no problem with Karma, but I worry that, if that happens, the Wonder Stardom title, is just going to devolve into like overbooking and shenanigans. And what I've really liked about Kamitani's reign, it really has been a workhorse, bell to bell, let's leave it all out there type of reign in her matches. And I want to keep it that way. Now, of course, Oedo Tai being a heel faction, but that's the confusing part. I would say Karma's a member of Oedo Tai, but is Umasaki necessarily? Because when they put the boots to Kamitani, it's not like Umasaki joined in. She didn't help, and she didn't necessarily protest against it, but she abstained from participating as well.
She did just team
So
with Kid on the most recent show.
that is true. So it's difficult. All the same, again, like there's a lot of intrigue going into this. There is because Kamitani's had such a dominant reign, and she could bookend the year, as Wonder of Stardom champion, which would be huge for her. I personally do think she'll retain, and I'm hoping she retains because I've got nothing against Umasaki, but whoever beats Kamitani for the title, it's got to feel like a bigger deal. Whether it's like a upped kind of Mirai, like they rehabilitated her momentum. If it's Kid, if it's Mina, again have to build her back up. Any one of those people, I could buy it. Umasaki, not yet. But it is intriguing that she was the one that got because this should be a big deal. Like Stardom has been doing a big medium push for this show, so you'd think like they understand the gravity of this show, and Umasaki gets the spot. That's not a small matter. This more than likely is going to be the semi-main event for God's sakes. Like that's a huge deal. I hope it's a great match. I have a feeling it'll be an excellent match. Maybe even exceed my expectations because maybe I'm sleeping on this match. I have a feeling I
I
might be.
think
But
that is a
yeah.
very distinct possibility. I think the ultimate sleeper match on this show, as far as like the non-main event match that's going to like steal the show, is easily Azumi Shimizu for me. But
Yeah.
this is a low-key, like under the radar potential one as well. Because, dude, Kamitani in my eyes has been the MVP of Stardom this year by far. Like she has been so fucking consistent. This woman has put on more match of the year candidates than I think any wrestler in the world this year, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like I know fucking Dave Meltzer's ass would be like, "Oh, but Will Ospreay though," and I'm like, "Fuck you." But
Yeah.
Kamitani is just fucking match 5-star match machine. Like, she's the new gold standard. It's crazy because she literally just had like a relatively infamous botch where she fucked up Mina's face, but Mina has apparently already recovered to the point that she's going to be on this show, which is great. And hell, I mean, fuck, even speaking of botching moves and messing up faces, she just botched a cartwheel or a backflip knee drop onto Umasaki and busted her mouth up. So Kamitani is far from perfect, but when she is on, holy shit. I mean, she literally, I think, is in like 3, maybe even 4 of my match of the year candidates this year, and that is more than anyone else in the world. So like,
that's what makes her. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go finish your thought,
no,
please.
what were you saying? That's what makes her what?
Well, that's what makes her so fascinating to me, because like she's very clearly to me like a future ace, in the sense of like, if we go by Mayu's definition, Mayu can be an icon, but she only feels like an ace is the one who holds the title. Well, by Mayu's standards, Kamitani is absolutely a future ace because they're putting that world title on her. There's no doubt in my
shit,
mind.
we even just addressed on a recent show the rumor that they might have Shuri retain the title on this show and only ever drop it eventually to a still holding the Wonder of Stardom championship Kamitani, and have Kamitani fucking unify the Wonder and World titles. Now that's insane.
That is insane. I'm sure our most extended discussion may very well be the world title, which is coming up next, I'm imagining, because we're already talking about the white belt here. But yeah, like Kamitani has had like a few botches, and already I know there's like a very, very small but vocal like minority that's like obviously taking that for all that it's worth. And obviously it's like, give them an inch, they take a mile. That segment's taking the whole mile, being like, oh, she's unsafe, she's dangerous. I don't think Kamitani's dangerous. I think mistakes happen. I still think that she's refining certain parts of her offense. But here's the thing. When you look at her growth rate and you look at how she's expanded her move set and just what she can do overall as a performer relative to other people that botch more than they succeed, I still say she's coming out way ahead. And it's rare that I go to bat that way, but it's like, look, what a huge fan of Mina I am. I didn't turn on Kamitani after what happened because I understand freak things happen. And Kamitani is still a tremendous competitor and a tremendous asset for Stardom.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing. I'm going to real talk everybody here. Even if you kind of turned on Kamitani, if you thought, oh, maybe she's not that good, or screw Kamitani, I can't believe she did that. Like, if you went on that side, too damn bad. Because, like, Rossi very clearly loves her. Rossi loves her in my mind, because look how many segments he does with her on YouTube and shit. She introduced,
nobody
like,
has
the first
publicly interacted with Rossi more than she has.
Exactly.
It's like
so
her
even if
and
you
Kid, 1 and 2, or 1A and 1B, arguably.
Yeah, so even if you are one of those people that is turned on Kamitani, like, whatever, like, I would respectfully say, get over it, because she's clearly not going anywhere. I mean, for God's sakes, she was somebody, and I know it was an accident, again, and that's why, like, I'm not being visceral, but, when the 5-star happened, that Iroha was in, and Kamitani accidentally spoiled that surprise. Look where she is now. I feel like other pettier companies would have given her such shit for that. I don't even know if she would still be in other pettier companies, to be quite honest. But the idea that not only is she still in Stardom, but she's thriving the way that she is, she's winning the 5-star next year. I am going to say with my whole chest, she is my absolute, unless something changes by the time
I think
she
definitely has to be the favorite, for sure.
She's my front runner. Far and away, she is my front runner, and it's really not even close. So yeah, she's retaining the title. No way her reign goes down like this. And if it does, I'm only going to hate it, not because necessarily it's over, but because it's going to take some overbooked bullshit. And I hate that in my wrestling, and I know you're the same way. But it is a Oedo Tai. So I still am picking her to retain, but if she doesn't, just expect one hell of an overbooked Wonder Stardom title match. That's all I'm going to say about that.
If I were an odds maker, I would legitimately put Kamitani's 5-star win at like minus 150 already. Which, yeah. John, if you're not aware, for you to have anyone in a field where the names aren't even announced yet and the field is going to be 20 plus people at negative odds is fucking insane.
Yeah. Absolutely. At the very least, I'll guarantee this. I won't guarantee that she'll win it. I'll guarantee, though, she's making the finals of that thing next year.
Yeah.
100% making the finals next year.
I could honestly even see that, dude. I could even just straight up see it. I'm going to book it right now. The finals of the 5-star 2023. Kamitani versus Tam.
Oh, dude. Imagine Tam's story making back-to-back finals, but losing both of them because she made the finals this year and lost to Julia. Damn. But then I wonder if you'd give Tam the third fight, but that's way too far ahead. But I am getting excited. That's what Stardom does to me. But yeah, Kamitani retains.
I'm going to take it a step further and say Kamitani retains via the Firebird splash.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think they might have intentionally given her a little bit of like a lower level opponent to preserve the Phoenix Splash so that they can tell a story of her not wanting to use it because of how bad she fucked up Mina with it.
And also, no, never mind. I'm getting my matches confused because it's Kairi facing Tam at the Tokyo Dome. So I was going to say, well, they'd preserve her for the Tokyo Dome because that's Saya's whole thing. She wants to be, the Phoenix of the Tokyo Dome.
Well, she'll probably have a match on the Tokyo Dome too, but she'll probably be on the pre-show instead of the main show this time.
Yeah. Wonder if Kamitani will ever be an IWGP Women's Champion.
Yes.
Because, I think New Japan, I could see it.
1,000% yes.
I could see. You think before or after the red belt?
After.
I'm going to agree with that. If you would have said before, I would have fought you on it, but I think if we agree on after, I'm with you on that. All right.
I think they're going to make the progression at this point. I think the IWGP Women's Championship is actually going to be considered more prestigious than the red belt right now.
Yeah.
Like, I think the progression is going to be like white belt, then red belt, then IWGP at the top.
Right.
God, that makes me wonder if they're going to put the fucking IWGP World title on Shooty at some point.
Ooh, that is something.
Speaking of Shooty, though, let's get into our main event with Shooty defending the World of Stardom Championship against Julia, the 5-star Grand Prix winner from this year, since we're already jumping the gun and talking about next year, maybe even 2024. Julia won it this year. She should have won it last year, but she got hurt halfway through it and couldn't finish it. So we got Shooty last year winning it, and then Shooty converted last year's surprise win into the World of Stardom Championship, and she has converted that into a year-long fucking reign, which hopefully Julia ends here.
Okay, so here's what I want to do, and it surprises me given that it's me. I want to take a deep breath here. I'm just being honest about myself. I always try and be accountable on here. I want to take a deep breath. And I want us to put all the bullshit to bed, all the rumors, all of this and that. And I want us to look at it, for really what it is. If Julia loses this, what's the story for her then? And that's what I keep coming back to, because everything we said about Kamitani, I double down, I stand by it. But right now, in this moment, Stardom loves Julia. And I feel like you said, you actually took the words out of my mouth, and I'm so glad you said what you did, because I wouldn't have thought to. She was supposed to win the 5-star last year, which also, if you dig a bit deeper, means Stardom has wanted her in this spot for a while now. So much so that I was shocked when back in March she lost to Shooty. But maybe in Stardom's mind, it's like, no, we could do it now, or we could make the moment even more meaningful because this is a bigger show. And it's a rematch, and they have so much history. ALK, former Goddesses champs, used to be in the same faction, then Shooty went her own way. Like, I've been over Shooty as champion for a while, but I'll give Stardom credit. These two, there is a really rich relationship here, and there is a really rich story here. To me, Julia has to win. Because I feel like if Shooty wins, and again, that's why I said take the deep breath, put all the bullshit, and I also meant emotionally put the bullshit. If Shooty wins, I'm not going to be like, oh, fuck you, Stardom. Oh, Stardom, you're dead to me. I won't even say that they'll go the way of New Japan for me, because New Japan, it is a tragedy, my relationship with New Japan and how checked out I am with them right now. We'll cross that bridge, though, when we come to it. Wrestle Kingdom's only a few days away. I don't think it'll be that bad. I will just be frustrated, though, and I'll think, one, who's going to beat Shooty at that point? Because then you start to develop, to me, a Roman Reigns problem. I love the bloodline. I love Roman Reigns. But because pro wrestling is theater, and because I've said over and over, you might as well put it on my fucking tombstone, you are what you're booked, If you're beating everybody, then you know what you look like? You look unbeatable. And how do you beat what's unbeatable? How do you write it so that you get it inside the scope of believability? Shuri will have that problem if she beats Julia again. Some would even argue, and I think you'd have a case to argue it, she already has that problem now.
Yeah.
I think they've avoided it because of how they treat Julia. But if she beats her here, you definitely have that problem. 100%. Now, I've already said twice before this, I'm not counting Utami because that was more the heart than the head. But I have said twice before this, Shuri should have lost the title. Once to Momo, having gone heel, because we know the red belt is her obsession.
Yes.
And God, I want her to sate that obsession one day, but this is not the time for that. And then the other was Tam,
Utami.
and I'm going to be honest. And wait, what was that?
I thought you were going to say Utami.
No. I just said, and you might not have caught it because I know I'm talking fast. I said I'm not counting Utami because that was more the heart than the head. I knew she wasn't winning. I would have wanted her to
right.
win.
You're right. I didn't catch that.
But yeah, I just want to reiterate that because I knew people were going to think Utami. No, Tam. And to be honest, at the risk of sounding like an arrogant prick, when has that ever stopped me? I stand by that because Tam, Cosmic Angels was on fire and they just got Natsupoi. So I'm like, I'm used to my Japanese wrestling. If a faction's on fire, you take everything and you really get behind that faction. I'm still honestly a bit salty that Tam is doing Goddess's stuff because I honestly think we should be in her red belt run right now. But again, not the time for that. Because you still had Julia, I didn't complain that you had a Roman Reigns problem. She beats Julia here. They absolutely do. And I don't know what the fuck you do, dude. Because then here's the thing. Just to recourse, because I didn't forget that you brought this up in the white belt match. Then it does make me start to believe in the rumors that Kamitani would be the one to do it. Yep. And I hate it. Not because Kamitani doesn't deserve it, but because I think you and I both are sick of titles being unified.
Yeah.
God.
And then you've got a different kind of Roman Reigns problem.
Well, yeah. Well, then you've just compounded the Roman Reigns problem. Yeah. Exactly like they did with Roman Reigns at WWE. It's like, God, don't do it. Don't, because I'll tell you something. If that is ultimately what happens, then I think I am going to be a bit bitter with Stardom. And I hate to say it, but I've got to always be honest with myself. Stardom ain't above reproach. I don't want to do it to them, but they do it to me first. If you're really going to consolidate those fucking belts, it's like, why? Why? Because so many people from Azumi, Kid, Mina, it's like their ceiling just got so much lower now. And it sucks. And fuck you. So all of that is to say, it's madness, right? Because everything I'm saying, and again, we took the deep breath. I don't think anything I've said is hyperbolic. I'm going to trust Ashton to check me on anything where it's like, whoa, but I don't know about that. So given that I haven't gotten that check, safe to say that everything is inside the scope of believability. Doesn't stop it from being madness to me that Stardom would do it. Julia has to win here. And I usually hate when people are hyperbolic where it's like, if this person loses, they're buried, or this person has to win. No, but I think in this case, it's
since you said that I need to check you, I will say, because you mentioned the whole, like, if Julia loses here, what is her next story? I do think that there is story left to tell with Julia, and I do think that her winning the title here would be almost heelish.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to hand you the ball only because I really need you to go deeper on that because I don't see that at all. Oh, here's the thing. Let me before I hand you the ball, I can meet you where you're at with there being story left. Then the follow-up question would be, is that story even worth telling? But I don't see how it's heelish at all, personally. You're going to have to walk me through that.
Dude, there are just so many fucking skeletons in her closet. I feel like if she wins the title here, the story is Julia went to Stardom, she caught some shit, she found instant success, she got knocked down a few pegs by losing the white belt and having to shave her head, but then she refound success almost straight away, Goddess's title run, 5-star win, converts it into the red belt. She's the golden girl.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, though, we've got Suzu, who she abandoned, and now the new player being introduced, Maya Yukihi, who fucking trained her, who she also abandoned, showing up in Stardom this year. So if Julia were to lose here, there's story left to tell with Prominence and Maya at the very minimum, at least with those two. For sure, because I feel like there is like just deserves to be paid by Julia from those two.
Do you think then, and I'm painting in broad strokes here just to kind of simplify things a bit, do you think then the story with Julia can almost be said to be this woman has to fully reconcile herself with her past to liberate herself for her future? That she can't
Yeah.
really be world champion until she,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like it's like Julia shows up and she goes through a minor adversity. It's like she shows up, she trips over a twig on her way to the top of the mountain. But like meanwhile, you don't see the carnage that she left behind on her way to showing up in the first place. But once that's revealed, it's like, what the hell? Like, you're kind of a piece of shit.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if she shows
I
up, trips over a twig, and then also trips and stumbles her way away from the top of the mountain because of the carnage in her past, before having to fight her way back up to the top of the mountain, now completely shed of all that carnage and, her past, that feels like a completely different type of story that could even potentially be a better story. I don't know, maybe.
Okay, see now I'm going to try and put myself in the shoes of a prospective listener of this right now. Say somebody's tuned in. I mean, we do have 4 people watching, and they would say, wow, Ashton, that's a really salient point because it is. I will absolutely give you credit for that. It's a salient point that almost seems like it's a story worth keeping the belt on Shuri. But you have also said, for people that are really plugged into our content, that if Shuri retains, you're going to be very upset. You have said this at least 2 or 3 times to me, like when we've live reacted. So when you think about this story, I would assume that your own answer would be that it's not worth telling at the expense of the continuation of Shuri's reign. And so I'm guessing that you're still going to go with Julia winning here, or have you changed since then? Because I don't know. I want to know what your most up to date feelings are about this.
Full transparency, you are 100% right. I'm only bringing this up at all because you specifically said, if Julia doesn't win here, what story is left to tell about her? And I feel like there's a
Yeah,
correct answer to that, and I just wanted to bring it to light.
that's fair. That's fair. But I think, again, just to kind of recenter the convo, neither one of us necessarily thinks that story is worth telling at the expense of continuing Shuri's reign and having that perception problem that I've spoken of. Um, So I'm gonna say Julia wins, but I'll tell you, man, your answer was a very strong answer, and it does give me pause. And let me tell you, I if Shooter retains, I don't know because I would think they would tell that story with Julia then, and I think, oh man, Ashton was right. But then I don't know how you get her back to the championship because again, I really do look at Kamitani. We just had the conversation. I look at Kamitani, and you do too, as a favorite for the 5-star next year. And Julia's already won Cinderella. They haven't done repeat winners, I feel like, in quite a while.
Yeah.
So how do you get back to the title after that? So
Well, yeah.
we'll see. We
I
we
guess
will
I kind
see.
of look at it almost as like a Mayu trying to beat Io situation. If you don't know about
Interesting.
that, back in 2016, Mayu challenged Io in, I want to say, February or March, lost. Io betrayed her to form Queen's Quest in October. Mayu challenged her in December in a match that I bet you, if we were previewing and predicting then, we would have said Mayu has to win. Io retained. Mayu got a third shot in July and won.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I don't know. I just I think my personal favorite outcome here is literally just Julia wins and we move the fuck on from Shuri. Please, I'm sick of Shuri. I'm over Shuri. I like Shuri, but I don't like red belt champion Shuri.
You okay? So I want to say 2 things here. One, really fucked up, but I'm going to save that only because I feel like it's a tradition on preview predictions for big matches like this for one of us to put a little something something in the punch bowl. But before that, I agree with you about Shuri. Personally, thinking about certain performers 2023s, I want her to be all about Karate Brave next year.
Yeah.
I think her working with
Karate
Inaba would
Brave
be
for
so
Goddesses
good.
titles, man. I'm all down for that. Totally.
I'm all down for it too. I fucking love Inaba, and to be honest, I like Shuri so much more in a tag team, especially with somebody that kind of has an affinity with her style than just as this steamroller of a singles competitor.
Yep.
I am good on that for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna put a little bit of stank in the punch bowl, dude. I think this is actually no. I wouldn't say it's worse than Shuri beating Julia outright. Imagine if this was a TLD, because I've already predicted a TLD for Kairi Utami. Like, imagine if, just going by your Mayu Io logic,
Oh,
imagine
no.
if it's just Julia gets a bit closer each time, because the first time back in March, Shuri just beats Julia.
Yeah.
But then she didn't beat Julia, and then the third match, Julia finally beats her. Imagine if we get a
God.
fucking draw on this, dude. If they have the fucking... Because here's the thing. Normally, with the biggest show of the year for any promotion in the main event, I'd be like, no, nobody's... You never see that at WrestleMania. I don't think you've ever seen that at a Wrestle Kingdom. Stardom is the only one, though, where I'm like, I think they would have the fucking balls to do it. I really don't. For better or worse, I think they'd look at it and they'd be like, yeah, that works. And it's just... I don't think it'll happen. I just had to put that out there because I did put it out there for Utami Kairi, of which I think is a lot more likely for a draw there. But man, what a kick in the dick, dude. Julia might even be about to win the fucking thing and you hear the bell and it's like, no. And then you realize what's happened and it's like, fuck. But yeah, Julia to hopefully win. I will say though, in the past couple days, now I'm not speaking for you, I'm speaking solely for me. In the past couple days, and now hearing your like rationale about the story that's left, my confidence in Julia winning has actually gone down a bit. I'm not gonna lie, it's not as resolute as it was even like a week ago. It has been chipped away a bit, but I think that's just like pre-show anxiety,
Yeah.
just knowing that we're so close now. But I still am pretty confident. I'd say I'm at 80-20 Julia wins, but Shuri used to only have like 5%. I used to be that like, no, Julia's winning. Now it's like, it exists. There is, like, if you ran the match 100 times, with these kind of stakes, there are a couple times where Shuri's going to get the win. So we'll have to see. I think my hype is holding steady at 9. Maybe it's going up to 9.5 because I really am psyched for the matches that I know are going to be fucking bangers. This is going to be a terrific show. I can't wait for it. Is there anything else you want to say about any matches, any predictions, any insights, any implications about this? Like anything?
I don't think I
This is
have
fiction.
anything to add. No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, with that said, guys, for all of you that love Stardom and like joining us for this kind of stuff, please join us at 3 a.m. tonight. It's on the schedule. I'm saying it adamantly here because we had, I know Javaris yesterday was like, oh, why didn't anybody alert me? We alert everybody equally the same ways. Okay, so you guys know it's 3 a.m. tonight. Get an app in if you need to. This is a big fucking show. There are going to be reverberations from this. Landscape is definitely going to shift a bit going into 2023. Be there. Beyond that, thank you so much for the people that did tune in. Please leave a like as you file out. Click the bell icon for notifications. Subscribe so you don't miss any of that. To all goodness, check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And I'm just going to say it one last time, and I'm only going to plug the most immediate content we have coming. Tonight, 3 a.m., Dream Queendom, live reactions. I think I heard Ash say at the start of the show that the main show really won't even start until 4 a.m. It's going to be a long fucking show, people. I mean, take a deep fucking seat. But it's going to be the biggest show Stardom does. And again, it's going to be a real tone setter for 2023. Beyond that, Thursday is also Q&A. So 7 p.m. after hopefully we've gotten a restful night's sleep, from this fucking show. We're going to be doing Q&A. This will be the last monthly Q&A before we switch over to a quarterly model. And then Friday, we've got another Twitwell Request Live, a TRL from Sean Carpenter. Wonderful dude. We're still working out the particulars. But right now, I'm just going to say that I'm assuming that we're going to be reacting to all of SmackDown because that's what I think his initial request was, that he wanted us to do the whole show. I've got no problem with it. It's headlined by Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens and John Cena. John Cena working that one match a year, keeping that tradition alive for himself. You love to see it. So it's going to be a live reaction there. And then Saturday, of course, year-end awards. I've got one category left to fill in. I'm really psyched to share my awards this year with you all. Some categories I know I went hard on. Others, had trouble thinking of them, but I still like who ultimately got my awards. That's going to be at 7 p.m. We're going to ring in the new year with you guys, looking back on 2022. And then Sunday, we are resting, baby, because we are going hard from now to Saturday. So buckle up, buckaroos, because it's fucking happening. See you all at 3 a.m. Get your sleep, get your shut-eye, do what you need to do to get amped the fuck up, because we are about to cover bell to goddamn bell, the best wrestling on the freaking planet, and nobody does it like we do it. So be there, 3 a.m. Last time I'm saying it. Until then, guys, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, get fucking psyched for this goddamn show, and until we meet up in a matter of hours, tune in, peace out.